Good evening and welcome. My name is Jeremy Reagan, and I'm the director of the AP Wins. You just heard from, or just saw our assistant director, Mr. Michael Watanabe. Didn't he do a fantastic job? So we started off about as American as you can go with the national anthem, and then I like to find some music that you probably have never heard. So we went with the National Fencibles March. Now, most of you have heard of John Philip Sousa. I think last year when we were here, we played the Stars and Stripes Forever. So I kind of tend to go mainstream, and then I want to find something you've probably never heard. Has anybody heard that march we just played before? Okay, I got about 4 or 5 people in the room. That's pretty good odds there. It's actually about a militia group that was in our nation's capital about the time when Sousa wrote that in 1888. And they were well known for how good they were at marching their drill work. So possibly one of the first marching groups as a predecessor to a marching band that most people associate our groups with is marching band. So as we move towards the rest of our summer, we're going to move to the movie portion of our concert. So we are going to listen to some music from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. And this music was actually written by an American composer named Michael Kamen. And I know if you know the story of Robin Hood, you're thinking, well, isn't that Great Britain and this is Independence Day? But the music was written by an American composer, and this is if you've seen, there's a dozen different Robin Hood movies. This is the one with Kevin Costner, so if you've seen that one, you'll probably hear something familiar. But Michael Kamen was one of our great American composers. He died a little bit too young, and so I think he would have been quite amazing if we had seen a full-length career. But I think you'll enjoy this selection of his. This is the music from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. That's kind of a big piece. I was going to put it at the end because it's a really good closer, but the French horn said if I did that, they'd all leave. So there's a lot of notes in there for the French horns. All right, so now we're going to move back to a little bit more of a traditional 4th of July moment. So we're going to perform our Armed Forces Salute. And during this song, we're going to play each of the 5 military songs. And if you are a veteran of one of the branches of the military, when you hear your song, we would ask that you come to the front so that you can receive applause. We would just like to thank you for your service to our country. If you, for some reason, are a little bit hard of hearing or you forgot what your song sounds like, we will have it on the board, so you are welcome to come down when you see it up there. So, and if you're not sure, come on down. If you have someone that has passed and they were a veteran and you would like to stand and come to honor them, we would also be glad to have you down front. We would ask that once you move to the front, please stay up there, and at the end, we would like to applaud for everyone. So, without further ado, here's our Armed Forces Salute. Once again, just thank you so much for your service if you were able to serve. And I believe most of us, even if we weren't in the service, we know someone that has made some sacrifices. So thank you for all that you have done if you're a veteran. And I think I have several family members that were in the military. So we really appreciate their service. We would not be where we are as a country today. We are going to segue to a very specific war in American history. So I'm curious, by show of hands, there's an old movie called The Great Locomotive Chase, starring Fess Parker. Has anyone seen that movie? All right, good. So you'll know the story for the most part. I was wondering how much plot detail I was going to have to go in for you to make sure you knew what was going on. I'll give you the short rundown, though. And a quick disclaimer, this is not the music from the movie, but it's the same story. So if you've been with us for the past several concerts, you will have noticed that I am playing a piece by Robert W. Smith on every concert. He was a very, very great composer. He wrote about 600 pieces for band and orchestra chorus, and he recently passed away back in, I believe, September, November, somewhere in that range this past year. He has written so much music, and I believe everybody on this stage before they got to my band played a few of his pieces at least. It's hard to get through a school band without playing some Robert W. Smith. So this year we're trying to honor him by playing a piece of his. This one is just fun from beginning to end. So if you haven't seen the movie, here's what happened. In Kennesaw, Georgia, there is a museum, and right across from the museum are some actual tracks. A Union spy sneaked behind enemy lines, boarded the train, and stole it. Now, I don't know if you know much about trains, but you can't just drive them off. There's a very predictable path. So that's not a great idea if you're going to steal something. However, the conductor, the only reason they were able to steal the train was because the conductor and the engineer were eating breakfast right there in Kennesaw. And so what happened was they looked out the window and said, "That's my train leaving." And they took off on foot chasing this train down. I remember being about 10 years old watching this movie going, how is that? Luckily, he found one of those push carts that, moves up, caught up and found another locomotive that was ready to chase him down. You'll have to go find the movie if you want to find out what happens. I think, though, the blue guys win eventually. So I know that was a spoiler if you haven't seen it, but I figured I just wanted to give you some peace there. All right, so without further ado, you're going to hear the train in the station with some morning mist while they're eating breakfast. You're going to hear the train take off. You're going to hear the guy chasing it down. You're going to hear the fighting. And then you're going to hear the train coming back into the station at the end when they capture it. We're going to play all of that. I know it's hard to believe. But without further ado, The Great Locomotive Chase. So next, we're going to take a peek at the third area that I have listed up there, the Majesty. So I'm curious. I know you weren't expecting to have to raise your hand. I apologize. I'm a school teacher. It's a habit. How many of you have been to Niagara Falls? Okay, so you don't need too much explanation, but it's majestic. There is a lot of grandeur there. It is a natural beauty, and I think we share it with Canada technically, but it's part of our country. And this is just one of the most beautiful things in our country. And if you look around our country, there are so many beautiful, majestic parts to our natural land that we have here. So this piece is by Adrian Sims, and he is a young composer. He is under 30 years old, but he is up and coming, been composing a lot of excellent things. So this is his take on the beauty of Niagara Falls. Please welcome back to the podium, Mr. Watanabe. So at this point, I'm going to do a small commercial, but I'm going to have a little bit of a message with it. This is an all-volunteer group. We meet once a week, and I don't think we've met once in this concert cycle with every single person on stage there at the same time. All of these folks have jobs and lives that don't have anything to do with music making. Don't they sound fantastic? So if you would like to play, we would love to have you. We are about to go on hiatus for a couple of months, but we start back up in November, and we'll start working on our Christmas programs. Playing, we would love to have you. Our web program, it's apwins.org, and on that main page, there's a sign-up link that will just get you the emails. I generally don't send emails when we're on break, but every week, email. So if you sign up, you'll know when it is. If you would like to continue coming, members you don't want to play, there's a link on there where we call it Friends of AP Wins. So we send out 1 or 2 emails for every concert saying, hey, here's when the next one is. So go to our website. We would love to have you visit and sign up for something. We would love to have you. This next piece is kind of an interesting piece, and I kind of selected this almost on accident or coincidence, that this piece was just like Great Locomotive Chase. It was arranged and commissioned by the TAP Middle School Band Program, which if you're not familiar with where they are, they feed McEachern High School. They're just down the road here a little bit. But both of these pieces were arranged and or written for that middle school. There was an excellent band director there, Miss Erin Cole, and she had these commissioned, and her band sounded fantastic when they premiered them. However, this is a piece that is very interesting to me. If you'll notice on the right side of your program, I've put lyrics to each of the selections. I'm not really a lyric person. I like to just play the notes and rhythms. However, I think these are some fantastic rhythms. So this has 4 movements. And after each movement, I'm going to pause slightly, and then we'll move on to the next one. It's tradition that you don't clap between movements. However, if you just love what you're hearing, I'm always accepting of applause, so feel free to jump in. However, I will turn around so that you know when to applaud after the last selection. These pieces come from Shaker Melodies, and the Shakers were a small religious sect that was here in the 1600s, 1700s, and they had some interesting beliefs, not all of which I think would be relevant for today, but they had things that might sound like could be relevant today. They believed that slavery was not a good thing for America. We are still fighting the repercussions of that in our country. They believe that men and women should be equal. You shouldn't discriminate there. Like, these are things that we are fighting in our country today that we're still working on. If you, and I'm going to come back around, here's my circle back. I talked about these people at the beginning. These people on this stage have vast political different beliefs. Do we meet up because we argue and fight about beliefs? We meet up to make music together. And I would imagine if you think right now, you can imagine someone in your daily life that might have a different political viewpoint than you. When you turn on the television right now, it's kind of depressing politically. So I want you to just a moment, look at that 4th movement of the lyrics. And I don't remember them. But you can all see them. I have it here somewhere. Well, I know the title, but I'm going to read them some lyrics. Yeah. All right, so, 'tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. Some of us are still trying to figure out where we're supposed to be in this world. That would be nice to know, wouldn't it? And then look, it says, when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. Imagine if we all knew for sure we were doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing. Then look at the next paragraph. It says, when true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. How many people in our country today struggle to bow and to bend to the opinions and the wills of those around them? They just want to fight each other. Like, oh my goodness. And this is 200 years old. Turn, turn will be our delight by turning, turning till we come round right. So, I don't typically speak politically up here, and if you'll notice, I know we have people of differing opinions. So, my point, what I want to say is, we're Americans. We can all believe what we want to believe. And I would be very happy just playing all the notes and not talking to you. And I know you didn't come to this building today to hear a sermon. But as you go out tonight, I want you to think about the people around you and notice that your daily life is not what you see on TV. And I want you to be kind to those around you. And if you're not, thing that you need to do. So I think that would be very nice. If you read these lyrics along, I think it makes the music more meaningful. Boy, Frank Kelly's Simple Gifts. If you've been coming for a couple of years, you might have heard the name American Folk Rhapsody before. There's 4 of them. This is the last one. I know if you're reading the program, it says number 3. For some reason, we started on number 4 years ago. So we did 4, 1, 2, and then now we're on 3. So if you've been here all 4 years, you have now completed your set. So this is, Claire Grundman was one of the great wind band composers of 1800s, as they say now. And he wrote a lot of music. He would take American folk songs or from any country, and he would kind of blend it together and make a rhapsody. And you will hear several pieces here that you might recognize, and 1 or 2 you might not. But most of them, the first one you're going to hear is going to be Colorado Trail, and then it moves along to Get Along Little Dogies. And if you've ever been out west, we're coming back to the Majesty portion of our program. So it is beautiful out west. Georgia is beautiful too. I've lived here most of my life, but we're going to think for just a moment on the west as we listen to American Folk Rhapsody number 3. Before we move to our last piece, I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you to Heritage Fellowship. They graciously host not only our concert, but our rehearsals also. So a big round of applause, please, to Heritage Fellowship. At the end of the program, we are a nonprofit. So if you would like to make a donation, come down front or meet us on the way out, and feel free to hand us a donation. If you wish to use Venmo or PayPal, we have those set up at AP Wins, or you're welcome. We also take cash still. So thank you so much for coming out tonight. We really appreciate it. And thank you to Heritage for hosting us. If you are not aware, this is the most important part of the evening. After this next song, go out these doors. There's stairs on the left. Ice cream downstairs. Heritage has put together a wonderful ice cream social for us to hang out and talk and fellowship and celebrate our country. So thank you for coming. I'm going to invite Mr. Watanabe up. I believe he's going to tell you a little bit about the last piece before we get started.
So I'm sure this last piece doesn't really need much of an introduction. We're going to play an arrangement of the Star Wars saga. This piece has, to me, starting off in band in 5th grade. I had heard all through elementary school the school band play Star Wars every year. And so as a kindergartner all the way through 4th grade, I looked forward to the spring concert every year. They played, wanted to play the band.